Why should anyone work for something created effortlessly out of thin air by someone else? This is an important question for us to be thinking about, especially right now in 2021 America and throughout the West, really. And those terms, effortlessly and out of thin air, really are key here, as in when it comes to the USSA dollar, it is created effortlessly and out of absolutely nothing. At its point of origin, it is made effortlessly and out of thin air. You don't even have to print it on paper, so even old illustrations involving printing presses or trees, money growing on trees, those are way behind the times. How long does it actually take to create 1 trillion USSA dollars? How long does it take to type 1 trillion? That's how long it takes to create 1 trillion USSA dollars. How long does it take to create 9 trillion USSA dollars? The exact same amount of time. There is literally no difference between 1 trillion and 9 trillion when it comes to time spent or resources invested. Are you starting to feel a little red-pilled on this yet? Now, before you answer that, and before we go any further down the rabbit hole on this one, if you appreciate content like this, please subscribe to the channel and sign up for the weekly newsletter at hellrazerreport.com. Now, back to our question. Why should anyone work for something created effortlessly out of thin air by someone else? This question seems to be begged by the headlines of hundreds of articles and stories running each and every day right now, including recent coverage of an entire shift staff quitting at the same time at a Burger King in Lincoln, Nebraska. While there are a lot of interesting and appropriate angles to stories like that do pop into mind, like, well, how much of this sort of attitude can be blamed on stimulus programs, these interesting and relevant subplots almost always help distract us from the massive core issue staring straight at us through stories like this. And that core issue is the nature of our currency versus the nature of real money or sound money. Sound money that our system despises and does everything it can to keep off our radar entirely. Even a peripheral presence of the what is real money question cannot be tolerated. This is the context in which we are conditioned to assume so many fundamentally wrong things on the subjects of money, currency, and economics that we tend to begin our understanding with 100% inaccurate assumptions that then lock us into a way of thinking designed to keep us in a very small, purposefully designed box, or a cage, you might say. One of those presuppositions is that the USSA dollar is legitimate when it is, in fact, the quintessential con. And as with all other cons, it relies completely on the confidence of those being scammed or ripped off. In this case, on an infinitely massive scale that has literally resulted in our bondage to the elite abuser class that has assumed for itself the power to effortlessly create or counterfeit wealth out of thin air and then use that counterfeit wealth to effectively own and control everyone and everything beneath them. For them, to that elite abuser class, this question is an existential threat. Why should anyone work for something created effortlessly out of thin air by someone else? Think about it. The more you do, the more clearly you'll understand the rising desperation of the elite abuser class and their determination to drive us all into what they consider a great reset. If you appreciate this perspective and want to learn more about subjects like this, please subscribe to the channel and sign up for the weekly newsletter at hellrazerreport.com.